was some of the content of Sunday's game, but Alex Ferguson did advise against watching this replay alone. For the thousands who've reconverged on Birmingham, though, that was never an option. Far from being cowed, they revel in the rawness of the rivalry. So does Emmanuel Petit, who's back for Arsenal, and he assured the world yesterday staying with Arsenal despite his season's 3 red cards, the last of which cost him involvement on Sunday. Petit replaces Nelson Vivas, himself sent off then, in a Gunners side which shows the other widely anticipated change. Fredrik Ljungberg comes in for Marc Overmars, whose late fitness test did yield a place among the subs. If Arsenal do go through to play Newcastle, it'll be the only time this century that the same 2 sides will have come together for successive cup finals. Roy Keane leads the Mancunian majority, believing that, but for one X-rated decision, that possibility would by now be wiped out. Since the tenuous technicality that cost him Sunday's winner, his publicly philosophical attitude has done him great credit. Mind you, he's never needed much encouragement to rejoin battle, and he does so in a significantly altered United lineup. It's Jesper Blomqvist for Ryan Giggs down the left, ahead of Phil Neville, who, as expected, fills Dennis Irwin's boots. Up front, Teddy Sheringham and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer start together for only the 3rd time this season. Dwight York's rest is on the bench. Andy Cole's is absolute. United have won each of their last 5 FA Cup semi-final replays. Of course, it's the same team of officials as at the weekend. David Ellery says he's been looking forward to tonight, despite all that happened then. He also stands by his assistant Graham Atkins, whose fidgety flag precipitated so much fuss. 1-0. 92nd minute, so we will be back with extra time and potentially penalties after this break.
Arsenal's goal difference is now only inferior to United's by 6.
After a campaign waged for much of the season on several fronts, Arsenal now have only the Premiership to fight for. This lack of distraction seemed to bring extra focus last night at Highbury, Parlour opening the scoring after a period of total Arsenal domination. Somehow they let Wimbledon escape to the dressing room with only a 1-0 deficit, but it proved a short-lived reprieve. Just after the break, Vieira blasted a second, before the champions added a further 3 in 3 minutes. Kanu's strong header eventually went in off Ben Thatcher. Bergkamp made it 4 a minute later. And Kanu received justice for a busy display, side-footing it in from a yard out. 5-0 with half an hour to go tempted even the Arsenal defence to relax. Carl Court joining a small clan of players to have scored at Highbury from a set piece. But the win had already been more than secured, and Arsenal remained well positioned to exact revenge on Manchester United in the Premiership for that painful FA Cup defeat. Keith Phillips, BBC News.
Well, now there's news this morning that the BBC